Ludvig Åberg isn't like most golfers you see on TV. Golf is usually full of fist pumps, loud cheers, and players showing off their emotions. But Ludvig is different. He doesn't shout, he doesn't celebrate, and he doesn't try to put on a show. Instead, he stays calm and quiet, letting his game speak for him. Shot after shot, he keeps the same steady focus. While other players get nervous or excited, Ludvig looks like nothing can bother him. That cool style has given him a nickname, the Silent Assassin. In a sport where noise and drama often take over, Ludvig Åberg proves that silence can be the most powerful weapon of all. Ludvig Åberg's rise feels almost mythical. He came from a quiet town in southern Sweden, far from golf's glamorous hotspots and with no famous golf lineage to his name. And yet here he is, at just 25, already with PGA Tour victories, Ryder Cup dominance, and a Masters runner-up finish under his belt. That's not just talent, that's discipline, resilience, and an approach to the game so steady it unsettles the competition. But in 2025, Ludvig did something no one quite expected. He broke the PGA's golden rule, and what came next shook the golf world. This is that story, how silence, precision, and a daring stretch beyond tradition defined Ludvig's defining moment. Early life and quiet beginnings. Ludvig Noah Åberg was born on October 31, 1999 in Eslöv, Sweden. Wikipedia +2. Wikipedia +2. He didn't come from a rich golf family, nor did he grow up surrounded by elite courses. His father played golf on weekends, more for love than legacy, but one day his father offered him simple motivation. Stay another hour on the driving range, and you'll get ice cream. Ludvig stayed. Over time, that small reward grew into an internal drive. By his early teens, Ludvig was no ordinary kid with a club. He studied swing mechanics, scrutinized angles, and trained himself mentally. At 15, he enrolled at the Elite Sports Academy in Helsingborg, Phil Borga School, joining the ranks of serious athletes. There, Ludvig found a mentor who would refine his game and help him focus not on spectacle but on method. His amateur career blossomed. In 2022 and 2023, he captured the Ben Hogan Award, given to the top college golfer in the U.S. Wikipedia +2. Wikipedia +2. In 2023, he turned pro. Within months, he collected his first victories on both the European Tour and PGA Tour, demonstrating that his calm was not just facade, but formidable. RyderCup.com +3 Wikipedia. +3 Wikipedia +3. He made his Ryder Cup debut in 2023 and became known for an explosive 9-7 foursomes win paired with Viktor Hovland over two U.S. legends, Scottie Scheffler and Brooks Koepka. That moment announced him to the world. GolfDigest.com +2 Golf Monthly +2. By 2025, he was no longer a surprise selection. He was a cornerstone for Europe. Reuters? The Golden Rule and the break-in PGA Tour culture? There's an unwritten golden rule. After your shot, especially when you've made a significant gain or win, you show modesty. Don't over-celebrate. Don't protest too much. Let humility reign. Let your performance, not your theatrics, define you. The game demands decorum, especially among its high-pressure moments. Ludvig broke that rule, but he didn't do so with overt flair. He did it with quiet audacity. The moment. In the 2025 Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, Europe was facing a hostile crowd, intense pressure, and narrow margins. The final day was shaping up to be volatile. As match outcomes cascaded and tensions tightened, Ludvig found himself in a singles match with U.S. veteran Patrick Cantlay. Europe's overall lead hung in delicate balance. If Democrats lost too many points, the victory could slip away. On the 17th hole, Ludvig sank a dramatic birdie putt to go one up with one to play. The stadium erupted in cheers. Cantlay conceded the match on 18, giving Ludvig a 2-1 victory. That point sealed Europe's overall 15-13 win, the first European win on U.S. soil since 2012. RyderCup.com +2, Wikipedia +2. But what stunned observers was what Ludvig did immediately afterward. Rather than bow, raise a fist, or indulge in chair-thumping emotion, he paused. He closed his eyes. He breathed. Then, with deliberate composure, he walked forward and shook Cantlay's hand. No showmanship, no loud statement, just presence. That silence was loud. In doing so, he implicitly challenged the PGA's golden rule. He showed that triumph didn't have to degrade into pageantry. That victory could be silent but sovereign. Behind the silence, tactical mastery. To understand why Ludvig's quiet break mattered so much, you must see what he'd built underneath. Mirror drill and alignment ritual. Before his foursomes match, Ludvig used a little-known pre-shot routine. 2 mirrors, 4 tees, and an alignment sequence. It looked weird to casual fans, but it allowed him to internalize symmetry, posture, and balance under pressure. That drill was credited, in media accounts, for keeping his line straight and his nerves steady in the high-stakes Ryder Cup environment. Yahoo Sports Psychological Armor. From his earlier years, Ludvig had cultivated a mental mansion of resilience. In 2025, he was described as battle-tested and ideal for anchoring Europe's charge. Reuters, he'd seen adversity, crowd hostility, and moments of doubt, and carried through. At Bethpage, the crowd behavior became controversial. Sky News called it the most abusive Ryder Cup in almost a century. Rory McIlroy publicly decried fan conduct. Wikipedia +1. Ludvig, by contrast, neither snapped nor lashed. That quiet consistency made his final point more potent. Pairing strategy and captain's trust. Luke Donald, Europe's captain, entrusted Ludvig with critical pairings. He partnered with Matt Fitzpatrick in matches, and sometimes with Rasmus Højgaard in 4-balls. The trust was mutual. Ludvig was expected to build momentum and anchor matches. Wikipedia +3, ESPN.com +3, RyderCup.com +3. Though he had a rough day in Saturday's matches, Donald reportedly rested him in some sessions to preserve his energy and psychological balance for Sunday's singles. That decision paid off. Aftonbladet. What happened next? Ludvig's act of silent dominance, the refusal to play the emotion game, created waves. Here are the major ripples. Media and narrative shift. Immediately, commentators pivoted from will he to how he. The new narrative was, here's a modern paradigm for elite golf. Less show, more substance. Analysts asked, could silence be the new swagger? Profiles surfaced. Golf magazines dove into his childhood drills, his mental frameworks, his composure DNA. Social media filled with highlights, not of fist pumps, but of pauses, and what they meant. Team Europe's identity. Amplified Europe returned from Bethpage not just with a cup, but an identity. Disciplined, internally confident, emotionally reserved, but strategically fierce. Ludvig's moment became emblematic. The silent assassin had embodied a team ethos. Luke Donald referenced it in his post-cup speech, that sometimes the quietest roar resonates the loudest. Not a direct quote, but the sentiment was echoed in European commentary. PGA Tour culture provoked. Suddenly, the golden rule felt brittle. Several younger pros began experimenting with more subdued victory gestures, or none at all. Some media asked whether golf needed more emotional variety. Could muted celebration be seen as dignity rather than coldness? A few veteran players, however, pushed back. Golf is theater, they argued. Moments of passion are part of the story. But Ludvig's example forced a rethink. How much theater is necessary, and how much is noise? Sponsorship and branding. Ludvig's image, quiet, intense, disciplined, became marketable in a new way. Brands that leaned toward elegance, precision, and minimalism showed increased interest. His persona offered contrast to the flashier, louder stars. Deep dive. Why the break mattered. Let's zoom into the underlying layers. Why did that one composed gesture matter so much in an environment steeped in tradition, expectation, and theater? Silence as power. Silence creates room. After that putt, the roar of the gallery filled the moment. But when Ludvig stayed still, or nearly still, the silence around him became part of the spectacle. It forced viewers, cameras, and commentators to focus not on his reaction, but on what he had accomplished. That inversion is rare in golf. Usually, emotion leads the framing. Here, calmness became the frame. Ownership of the moment. By refusing to respond with athletic theatrics, he reasserted ownership over the moment. He kept agency in that pause. In match play especially, momentum and psychology matter immensely. He didn't hand the crowd more energy, he absorbed it and redirected it inward. Rule breaking without drama. Unlike flamboyant celebrations that sometimes backfire or look contrived, Ludvig's break was subtle and ambiguous. He didn't attack the golden rule overtly. He didn't subvert it loudly. He simply demonstrated an alternative, respect, but on his terms. That kind of breaking is harder to critique. It invites reinterpretation rather than backlash. Legacy leverage. His gesture became part of the Ryder Cup lore. It's the type of moment commentators will reference decades later. It elevated Ludvig's status not just as a great golfer, but as a cultural shift agent. Reaction and aftermath. In the days following the Cup, several threads emerged. European media heavily praised his Sunday match as the single swing that saved the Cup. RyderCup.com. Swedish outlets celebrated him as the only European to win a full point in Sunday singles. Omni, his caddy, dismissed rumors of the American Ryder Cup team trying to disrupt Europe's psyche. TheGolfingGazette.com. Some criticized that moment as standoffish or aloof, but these voices were muted against the prevailing admiration. Ahead, what this means for golf. What Ludvig broke in 2025 may become a pivot point. Golf is evolving, and his moment calls into question how we understand victory expression. Will we see more players quietly commanding applause? Will captains train visible emotional control as a skill? In match play settings like the Ryder Cup, where tension and psychology are intrinsic, Ludvig's model may spread. Young players might study not just swing speed and shot selection, but how to calibrate emotion. His influence may ripple beyond match play. In regular tournaments, we might see a subtle shift in how winners walk off the 18th green. Less fist-raising, more composed reflection. Ludvig Åberg's trajectory from a boy bribed with ice cream to a silent assassin on the global golf stage is already legend. But in 2025, he didn't just add another result, he changed one of golf's unspoken rules. He proved that restraint can roar. He showed that composure at the apex can echo longer than any celebration. The golden rule of PGA would not be the same again. And Ludvig himself? He simply walked on, unmoved by the noise, letting the silence speak louder than words.